And I'm so blessed and grateful to be in recovery. And this is our Sunday morning Why Wait for Recovery community meeting.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Haiti, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. And we get together every single Sunday to discuss what this is and what it looks like. So I am a food addict. I'm a compulsive overeater. I'm a binger. I'm a purger. I'm a drug addict who also actually had bariatric surgery 3 years ago.
And I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic and an anorexic in recovery. So good morning and welcome, everybody. Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt just for 1 sec before we start. Ange, if there are any questions posted, can you let me know, please? Go ahead.
So we get together and we live stream. We're actually based here in Davie, so if you're local, come on down. It's a great place to get together with some friends. And we live stream on Facebook and on YouTube, so you're able to catch us there. Very often, before I actually discovered what this was, I used to think that there was something wrong with me. I thought that I never had, well, I know there's something wrong with me.
Okay, there's something wrong with all of us.
But I thought that I couldn't get this. I thought that if I only had enough willpower and determination and be like other people, I could stick to a diet, get thin, stay thin, and nail this thing. And I did every single diet under the sun. I probably gained and lost over 600 pounds in my lifetime. I just couldn't get this. So I used to beat myself up thinking that there was something wrong with me. Eventually I opted to have bariatric surgery, which I thought at that time not only was my health an issue, but also it would be a quick fix for me. So had the surgery, lost the appetite for a short period of time, and then all of a sudden everything started coming back. Those cravings, those thoughts, those old eating behaviors. I thought this behavior modification, if I did it long enough and stuck with people who did the same thing as me and just said no, everything would be perfect and I'd be perfectly happy.
Yeah, and so that just say no thing is important in the very beginning, right? Because we have to put down whatever our drug of choice is, so we have to just say no. And then we have to step into some kind of recovery so that we could stay saying no. And find out why it is that you're using instead of paying attention to what it is that you're using, because what it is that you're using don't matter. Doesn't matter if you're shooting up or if you're eating Oreos or you're throwing up or it's all the same stuff. Is what's going on and what makes it so that I feel like this is a thing of willpower, which it isn't, or nobody would be addicted to anything, right? Everybody would wake up in the morning and say, hey, today I'm not going to shoot up anymore. Or, hey, you know what? Today I'm not going to gamble away the kids' college fund. And that would happen. But it doesn't happen like that because saying that we're not going to do something doesn't make us not do something.
Right, and putting down the food wasn't the issue. In the beginning, I thought I was punishing myself because it was the same way of thinking. I've come to realize that I'm different. I do things that ultimately end up hurting me. They say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. For me, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, knowing what I'm going to get. Because I knew the outcome. I'd done it so many times before, and I still kept doing it.
The thing is, when they talk about like having faith in certain things, the thing is that we did do the same thing over and over again, and we did tell ourselves, well, you know what though? Tomorrow it's okay because tomorrow I'm going to stop. And tomorrow I'm not going to have to do this. And if I could just do it one more time, right? Or I'm just going to start again on Monday, or all of those things that we kind of, even though we didn't believe, we said out loud like it was really going to happen.
Or we said, do you know what? I stopped. So I've stopped this for a period of time. If I just have one, it's not going to make a difference. Or I've stopped for, with those crazy diets, and trust me, I did every single thing. I could stop for a period of time, and then as soon as I lost weight, I rewarded myself by gaining everything back.
By hurting myself.
By hurting myself and by beating myself up. And as I was doing it, I was telling myself what a piece of crap I was and why couldn't I get this.
And you know what? I was looking up some numbers the other day. So in 2018 in America, we spent $70 billion on diets and diet aids last year. $70 billion. And for some reason, 35% of the population is still obese, even though we spent that $70 billion. So what does that say?
Well, maybe it's got more than just the diet. So, the crazy thing is I came to realize, so I had a sleeve. So they take out 75% of my stomach. They physically remove
You mean
it.
surgery.
Well, I
It's
had
like not a
sleeve
tattoo.
surgery. Yeah, not the tattoo yet. Okay. But so they take out 75% of my stomach. So I thought that I would only eat this size portions for the rest of my life, and I'd be really skinny and things would be perfect. I fixed the problem. The thing is, I could never get full before the surgery. My way of thinking was I was always hungry, even though it had nothing to do with the food. In my mind, I could never get full. There was always this empty place inside of me. And that thinking started coming back a couple of months after surgery, which means it's not the size of my stomach that's the issue, because my stomach's still only that big. For me, it's the thinking behind it, and that's insanity in my world.
Yeah, and so if it was just a surgery, and we talk about this every week, you guys, if it was just a surgery, everybody would have surgery and everybody would be skinny and everybody would get happy because they're skinny. But it's not about getting skinny and getting happy. It's about getting happy so you don't have to pick up.
Exactly, and it wouldn't also be people going for surgery having 3-4 revision surgeries to try to fix the same problem, that they went in with before, and landing up just as unhappy and unhealthy and as miserable as where they first started. So for me, part of the journey has been that I realized I'm a little bit different. I'm the sensitive person that I can wake up funky in the morning for no reason, and I look at other people. My husband, for example, is who I call normal. He will get up and he does his day and does his routine, and he just seems to operate on a different level. When life shows up, he does things. He goes where he exercises, he eats normally, he does the things that he normally does. For me, I don't. I'll get into these funks where I don't want to. Why do I have to? I have these whole intellectual conversations with myself. And the way that normally happens in the past, before I had a program, was I would then start beating myself up with either drugs or food or something else, and my day would start getting crazy, and my thinking, I'd start getting snappy and bitchy and irritable and all these other things around my world. I didn't have the coping skills to be able to deal with life as life started showing up. I honestly believe that inherently I have to learn these skills to be able to deal with the emotions as they start showing up. As emotions made me uncomfortable because I didn't know what they were. As an addict, they were either good or bad, and there was nothing in between. I either loved you or hated you, and if I loved you, I'd do the world for you. If I couldn't stand you, I'd do anything to actually get back at you. And my whole day was obsessed with other people and other things and what they were doing and all this noise that was happening around me until I started, until I had met Felice. And while Wait for Recovery started happening, and I started learning the tools on how to deal with life as life is showing up.
Yeah, and so the thing is, I don't know how those other people are who aren't addicts, and I don't know what they think or what they do. I just know that as addicts, our go-to is something is uncomfortable, so let me change my brain chemistry, as opposed to something is uncomfortable, so let me understand that sometimes things are uncomfortable and let me learn how to cope with it instead of changing my brain chemistry to change the world around me. It's like we have this crazy belief that if we just change chemically what's happening here, then it changes the way that we look at the world. It's kind of really, we know that it's insane, but it's a little bit scary too, that we think that we could take a pill or an Oreo or vomit or starve ourselves or whatever, and that's gonna change what's happening around us. It's like, it's crazy, but that's what we think.
Right, and that's how we justify things. Mine goes from justification to action to feeling like crap. So, I remember that time when my clothes were so uncomfortable, my knees were killing me, my hips were really sore, my blood pressure was doing all wonky things, and I just wanted to be thin. That was the thing. All of a sudden, that was what I thought would fix everything. All of a sudden, reached that stage, and I started I noticed with a lot of people, when we go through surgery and I start seeing this, we become thin and we think we fixed the problem. Mm-hmm. We think it's something that we did that all of a sudden made our lives magical, and it's exciting in the beginning because shopping's fun and people are complimenting us and it's really cool. And we go, I've got this, I've nailed this thing. And then a couple of months later, it's not so much fun anymore. And with that, we have the choices as we're going through this. as I watch people post, they go, how long before I can eat a Big Mac? And I'm going, why would you want to do the things that, if you do the things that you always did, you're always going to have the things that you've always done. So why, if that Big Mac or whatever those food things are that are your go-to choices, put you in the position where you opted to have this major life-changing surgery, why would you then go back to the things that you were doing before? And it's really easy because I understand that I'm an addict. That isn't part of my thinking. I don't play that through of, if I do this, this is going to happen when I'm not in a program or when I'm not in community or when I'm not dealing with life as life shows up. Because I think the problem's fixed and it's never going to go back to the same where it was before.
Yeah, you guys, you know, I have I know a lot of people that have had surgery, and physically they do great for a while. Emotionally, it doesn't change anything. You get thin and it doesn't make you happier, it just makes you thinner. And then you will restart the behaviors that you had before. Majority of people who don't change what's going on in their head. And those are our patients that show back up in the office and they're type 2 diabetics again, and they're hypertensive again, and they have fatty liver disease, and they had lost 110 pounds but gained back 130 pounds in their third year post-surgery. So surgery, which I believe is a great tool, and I always say that, you know, having surgery is like going into a treatment center. I mean, I'm in a treatment center. I lived in treatment centers, and I'm not using, and I'm getting some help, but one day I need to walk out into the real world and have a better understanding of how it is to live and to think, so that I'm not doing the same thing, so that I'm not having the same feelings that I had before, because if I have the same feelings I had before and I don't know how to fix my challenges except for chemically, then I'm going to fix my challenges chemically, or think that I'm fixing my challenges chemically.
Or at least numb out those feelings for a period of time.
Yeah, something. So it's kind of complicated and kind of a pain in the ass, and something that we work on all the time. And actually working on recovery makes us happier people. And that's what our ultimate goal is, just to get some happy and to learn how to live in the world, and wake up every morning and not do something that's hurting ourselves, and then going to bed guilty and feeling ashamed and hating ourselves and doing the same thing over again.
So for the new people out there, because a lot of people join us, we have people from all over the world that tune in and join us. We actually have a virtual waiting room that you can step into and have a conversation with us, or just message Ange on Facebook. For us, recovery is a toolbox full of tools, you know, things that help us shift our thinking. Because for me, when they say thinking outside the box, I lived in this box of knowledge that I had, that I'd been doing the same things over and over and over again for so long. I needed to learn some new things. I needed a change in perspective. I needed firstly to be open and willing to try something new. I had to be honest with myself of where the issues really lie, and actually be open to learning from people who had things that I wanted. So when we talk about tools, part of that tool is being in community. A big part of it for me is being with other people who are just like me, people who think like me, people who feel like me at certain times, people who can actually give me real advice that isn't going to hurt me, but actually assist me in getting through where I am, rather than justifying why it's okay for me to pick up and hurt myself. So we have this community. It's on our website as well. It's sowhywait.net. Join, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. It's a great place to meet others. It's a great place to come talk and speak about the things that are on our mind, because one of the things with my disease, it's a disease of isolation. It's a disease that keeps me away from other people. It makes me more focused on what other people think of me. So I start hiding away and I don't actually interact, and I start closing up and shutting down, and not really allowing the real me to come out, because I think people won't like me for who I am. It's a place where people feel very similar things to me, or where they've been through similar things that I'm going through right now, and they've got through it, still coming out, being able to live life. Not everything's a great thing that happens, but we learn to be able to minimize the time that we spend ruminating in whatever that situation is.
Yeah, so that's all acceptance. Basically, acceptance. And so that's what we learn the most about in recovery, is acceptance and perspective. Anybody have anything to share yet online?
Yeah, so we have a few comments.
Okay.
Annette, excuse me, Annette says, I failed at doing doing the gratitude for 2 weeks. Sorry, I feel like all I do is give up on things easily.
Okay, so here's the thing. What happened, ooh, that was Annette?
Yes.
Hi, Annette, good morning. What happened 2 seconds ago doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter that you didn't do your gratitude list last night. I didn't either, I fell asleep. So it doesn't matter, and I'm not gonna feel bad about not doing my gratitude list yesterday because I didn't do it. Okay, so there's always today to start. So you know what, instead of waiting till later, if you wanna start on your gratitude, Annette, do one as soon as we're done with the meeting. Do a gratitude list. Remember, it's simple, 3 things that you're grateful for and your strengths. They could be little things, big things, doesn't matter. It just helps to change our perspective. You know, it's so funny. In addiction, we beat ourselves up and live in the past as opposed to saying, okay, right this second is my chance to change, to make a change. A little tiny change might be, but you know, how do you eat an elephant or whatever, right? You one bite at a time. I never really understood that. But how you climb a mountain, one step at a time, or whatever those things they say. Just start, baby. You didn't do it yesterday? That's okay, that's done. History. You know, when emotionally, when we're going through something in our lives, we live so much time in yesterday and so much time in tomorrow. And yesterday is a problem that I can't fix. And tomorrow is a story that I'm making up and that I completely missed the movie. So let's just stay right here. And okay, that's cool. You didn't do your gratitude list. All good. Does anybody out here care? Well, no. Meaning, does anybody judge you for it? No. We've all forgotten to do our gratitude list, except for Angeline. But we've all forgotten to do our gratitude list. So just start, baby. It's all good. After you do that first little gratitude list, that first step, you'll feel better. So no worries.
So for those of you who are there that don't understand why we do the gratitude list or what it is, you know, as an addict, I get very stuck in my head and I get very stuck in this space and the why me's and who did this and why did they do that, and my head becomes very chaotic. The gratitude list helps me to shift gears for a couple of seconds to change the way I'm looking. It just changes my perspective for a couple of seconds and puts me in a place of appreciation, which then opens me up to something different. So we invite every single person who's out there, post on the website 3 things you're grateful for today, your strength for today. It's amazing seeing what other people are grateful for, because when I first started this journey, it was really hard finding one thing to be grateful for. You know, it took me 20 minutes to do a gratitude list to find 3 things, even though I've got healthy kids, an amazing husband, wonderful home, great job.
It's gorgeous out
You know,
there
there's
today,
really,
right?
we live in a
Gorgeous.
beautiful place in Florida. There's so many things that I can all of a sudden rattle off. But in the beginning, I was so stuck in me and my misery. It was very hard to see beyond that. And it just helps work us through that process.
Yeah, so we're talking about perspective change again. Yes, Ange?
Oh, I just, to add on to what Haiti was saying, I just feel that it's important to say that for me the gratitude thing is something that is so simple, and I kind of in the beginning thought that it was like, I thought it was stupid. I thought, like, what is that going to do? And that honestly, it changed my perspective and helped me realize why I want to be in recovery and why I'm doing the things I do and why I want to change and make a difference in my life. And so that little thing of doing your gratitude, it helps you in more ways than you know.
And in the beginning, what happens, because we're all so ego-based, right? Well, what is Angela going to think of me after I do my gratitude list? So I better have it spelled correctly, and I better have...
My gratitude list used to be paragraphs. Now I say, I'm grateful for my shoes, I'm grateful for my nails.
Right, exactly. So it's, you know, it has to be done perfectly, and it has to be spelled perfectly, and what happens, because, you know, if Laura reads mine, and then, you know, well, maybe this one isn't good enough, she's going to have a better gratitude. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. None of us are that important. Nobody cares, and you're not doing your gratitude list so Ahmed can read it. You're doing a gratitude list to help to change your perspective so that you're paying attention to the stuff that you're grateful for that are coming from a place of abundance as opposed to a place of lack. Just a little tool that helps us move forward. So, right, Ange, in the beginning, I'm sure it took you quite a while to make sure that it was perfect.
Yeah, I took a half an hour to write a gratitude list until I decided not to.
Right,
So-
exactly.
So out of our friends out there, how many of us really thought this was bullshit in the beginning and that why would we have to do this? Okay.
Yeah, everybody
And
says
how
that.
many of us fought against doing it at times, like it would be Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
why do
to
I
do my
have to be
gratitude,
grateful?
but-
I shouldn't
but-
have to be grateful. Okay. Don't be, you know. So, you know, I'm grateful that I did my effing gratitude list. That could be one of the things you're grateful for. Yes, ma'am.
Annette has a follow-up.
Sure, sure.
Okay, when you say strength, I never know what my strength is. To me, I'm just doing what I have to do. If it was up to me, I would stay home, not work, and keep things simple.
Okay, so one of your strengths is that you go to work. One of your strength is that you participated today. One of your strength is that I did my effing gratitude list.
You opened your eyes, you
Right,
got out of bed, you took
right,
your
right,
kids to
right.
school.
Our strengths will be different at different times, and sometimes we'll actually feel them, and sometimes we'll act as if, because no matter what we need to do, chemically, the more positivity we put out and the more positivity our brain hears, the better that we feel. Whether we think that's true or not, it's true. You could look it up biologically. That's the way that the brain works.
So this is a concept that we got more into in workshops. You know, a large part of my journey in where I am today, which is a lot happier than where I started, is learning from others. And that's what we do in our workshops. We actually have a workshop coming up on the 7th of March. And in fact, we can give one away today as well. This one is Getting the Skinny, and it's a 2-hour workshop. And we're doing early sign up. You do it on our website, sowhywait.net. And we're also going to be starting our intensive 7-week workshop as well on the 9th of March, that's Saturday. So,
And the giveaway is valid for the date we're giving it away for.
Correct.
Right, it's for March the
Correct.
7th. I've got to write things down because I got
Okay, we're 7.
March
She's old.
7th.
Yeah.
So I thought you want to check in with everyone.
I do. Any other questions before we check in that need to be addressed
Everyone,
immediately?
there's a lot of people who think you guys are lovely.
Oh, we don't know. I would say I think you're lovely too, but that would be me lying. So I hope you're lovely too, and I hope that you're doing your best to do your best. That's what I hope. Hey, Ahmed, you want to say anything this morning? He's the strong silent type. He just comes here and fixes computers.
No, this is good. I think, like you said previously, I think recovery is more than just willpower, motivation, and just an easy fix. Taking trying to change things chemically. It's more than that. You know, it's more holistic in perspective than just the easy. Oh, let me just do one thing and that will fix it. And then you fail on that. You're like, well, let's try something else, and that doesn't work. And then you keep trying this easy fix, but you don't learn the lesson of it's not easy. It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah, and if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and then we wouldn't have to have a meeting, right?
Right.
So thanks for saying that, because that's correct, right? So if it was easy, okay, it's for sure it ain't easy. For sure it's worth it. For sure it's a lot better to be sitting here than it is to be sitting where we used to be sitting.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like treatment center in Tennessee. Like nobody wants to be sitting there. I'm telling you, it wasn't that much fun. Although it was beautiful, but it wasn't that much fun.
You know, when we talk about where we were, I was so lonely. I was so hopeless. I mean, just in terms of myself, I just didn't see any way out of that. I was in a really dark place.
I was crazy. You were crazy. I was insane. I'm not kidding. I was insane.
I was miserable.
insane.
I was so unhappy.
Oh, you got vault.
So just because we touched on gratitude, I just wanted to say thank you to Angelia and to Ahmed. They come every
you,
single week.
Angelia and
They
Ahmed.
help facilitate our meetings. They give us, Ahmed does all the technical stuff so we can actually reach you. He's phenomenal. And West Broward Club here, thank you for this beautiful, gorgeous space that we come have a meeting in every single Sunday.
Karen. Hi.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I need to get back to work
Okay.
on my recovery.
Okay.
I'm doing all right. It's just that I need an assignment.
Okay, fair enough.
I need my feet held to the fire, and because I feel like resentments are creeping back in.
Okay.
The brain, you know, the thoughts and everything. Nothing's going on, but it's all up here.
So the recovery thing, so thanks for saying that. So the recovery thing is kind of like, we move forward in our recovery and then at times we feel kind of stagnant, especially if we're not working on it. And so, and I heard that because I heard you left a couple of messages about that and about how you need to move forward. And we're going to start some workshops again, and that gets us super involved. And I'm actually going to reach out and find out what it is, some of the subjects that people want to talk about, that they're feeling the most, that they're talking about the most, that we can be working on together as a community.
So I've got a suggestion. Can you message us with the topics that you want us to cover, and we'll start choosing a winner every single week based on the topics
Yeah,
that we
actually,
integrate
that's a good
into our
idea.
workshops.
That's a good idea. So whoever picks a topic that we're going to work on, they'll get the workshop for free.
Perfect.
That's
That sounds
awesome. 'cause
Awesome.
It makes my life a lot easier.
So, and I just wanted,
We're all into that.
you know,
Yes,
Karen,
we are.
I had this insight this week. Was actually interesting listening to someone else talk, and they were saying that for them recovery is it's like a refrigerator. You know, when you plugged in, everything's working great, and it doesn't matter if the food's one day fresh, an hour fresh, or 3 weeks. It stays good until you unplug it, and the minute you unplug it, things don't start disintegrating and petrifying or whatever, getting bacteria in one day. It takes a little bit of time, and the further and further away we go, and we say we've got this, that old stuff starts coming in. It's like those days when I was dieting and I've got this and I've got this, and I lose the weight, and for a couple of days I'm feeling great, and then all of a sudden those old thinking starts coming back. That's my default thinking. That's where I go to. And for me to stay healthy, I have to keep in continual motion of being around people who are doing the same thing as I'm doing,
Yeah.
because it helps keep me in check. And not only that, they're also getting to know me. So when I'm off, because I'm an isolator, so I shut down, and people say to me, listen, what's going on? Something doesn't seem 100% okay with you.
So that's a
Yeah,
good.
I feel like I've unplugged my refrigerator.
Okay. so
plug it back in.
Yeah, so that's cool that you said that. And that's kind of like with what Annette said. So okay, so that happened, right? And so okay, so from right now we move forward.
Yeah.
That's all. Remember, what happened 2 seconds ago is done. What we do right now, we do right now and move forward. So thank you, Miss Karen. Miss Laura, what up, girlie?
Hi.
Hi.
Two things are going on. One is, so this is always a rough time of the year for me. I'm convinced, I think I have seasonal affective disorder.
Oh, fair
and I
enough.
do all kinds of things to try to help myself, but it's hard. I mean, it's gray and cold and whatever. So it kind of compounds my whole natural tendency to isolate and just, stay in my house and keep to myself. So there's that going on. And I'm noticing that I'm getting up in my head right now and being really, really hard on myself, because I'm taking things, like it's one of our 4 agreements, right? I'm taking things that people do so personally.
Can you give me a like?
I'm like, I'm sorry?
Can you give me a like? Can you give me an example?
So I have a friend who I think is going through a really difficult time at work, and she's having a hard time. And my friend canceled like a few months ago getting together with me. And she said it was because of her family or whatever. And I haven't really talked to her since then. And that's, partly on me. But I'm noticing like things are playing in my head, because I'm like, she doesn't want to be friends with me. She doesn't want to, like, I want to leave her alone because, she'll come to me when she's ready, and all this other kind of BS that normally I would, as a friend, go in there and try to get her, right? She could be like lost in her space, and I move toward them, like trying to say, hey, I'm here for you. If you don't want it, it's okay. But for some reason, I've taken all of her stuff so personally. Talk about self-centered, right?
Laura, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
You care about this girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, you care about her. If she's happy, you care about her, right? If she's sad, you care about her. If she's in a good place or a bad place, you care about her, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't heard from her?
Yeah.
If you hadn't heard from me in a couple of months, would you reach out to me
Yeah.
and say, hey, Felice, I just want to make sure you're okay. Love you, and I'm here, and I'd love to
Yeah.
see you. But if not, if you need anything,
Right.
would you worry about my reaction to your reaching out? If it were me?
No.
No. What are you worried about?
I think I'm worried that either like that, she's trying to cold shoulder me, like she's just you. And again, this is crazy brain.
I know.
And as I told you, I've had no issues with this person.
Yeah.
I've had nothing, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing going on. For some reason, my brain lately has been doing this kind of thing
So
that yeah.
So stop sitting back and stop the behavior. And when you're done with the meeting, give this girl a call.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe she needs some help. Maybe she
Yeah.
doesn't like you anymore. Okay. Maybe
Yeah.
she needs her friend to call and say hi.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make up whichever story we want. And in the end, either she hates you and she never wants to talk to you again, right?
Yeah.
Or she needs some help, or she hasn't even thought of you because she can't find your sneakers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whatever it is that's going on is what's going on. You can, when you say crazy Brent, the thing about you guys, about you and Karen, is that you always know exactly what's going on in your head, which is pretty impressive. So you guys are both very aware. So you know 1,000% when you're acting nutty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know that you're acting nutty, so stop it. Reach out to this person. It's somebody that you care about.
Yeah.
Okay? And make believe that it's somebody that you're not worried about what their response would be. You wouldn't worry about reaching out to Ange.
No.
No, reach out.
Okay.
Just because the only thing you could do is show up and do your best to do your best. That's you doing your best to do your best. You
Okay.
sitting back and thinking about what's going on is not you doing your best to do your best, which you know. And that's where we stay when we're spiritually in active addiction, right?
Yeah.
We just stay here with all of
Yeah.
the noise and the crazy and the chaos that we make up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Remember, Liz isn't here, but she had that whole thing with the girl at work, and then they didn't talk to each other for 73 years, and then, they hugged it out because, Liz said to, well, you haven't spoken to me, and they're like, yeah, I haven't been okay. Okay. Right? And
Yeah.
it could have been Karen, with her sons, and you could have got in touch with your sons, and they could have said, you know what, Mom, lose my number. That might have happened. It didn't, but it could have. But if we're always going to worry about that, then we're never going to do anything. This girl is your friend, Mama. Give her a call.
Okay.
Okay?
One of the things that helps me when I get into that place, because I have a tendency to slide into that place, depending on what's going on in my world, is doing something a little bit different. And I find service really helps me. And that can be in any form. That could be posting something you found interesting on the website, or things that I'm starting to watch my motives, like why my learning in it is what is my motivation behind it, why am I doing things. I had this conversation with Stephen last night, and he was talking about opening up the door for someone who's the same age as him. Like, is it the right thing to do? I said, well, what is the motivation behind it? I said, I open up doors for people because it makes me happy. I like opening up the door without actually expecting anything, because when I expect something, then I build that resentment of, couldn't you say thank you, or something when I do it. But I just do it because it makes me feel happy. And if I don't feel like doing it, I don't do it. But generally, it's a motivation behind it. And I find when I get stuck, because I also get stuck sometimes, no matter who I'm talking to, those thoughts keep sticking there. I just find that if I can do something that makes me feel happy on the inside, it shifts everything. And it can be as simple as, for us, we've got a fabulous vehicle. We never had this before. We got the internet. We've got an online community. Years ago, people couldn't connect this way. We are able to. And that can be as supporting someone else who's in our community, one of our friends who's out there, who's maybe just posted something that they're struggling with, or that you liked, or anything, a funny cartoon, an article that's interesting, something else, how to get out of this funk that I'm in, blog about it. There's many ways that otherwise we can just sit in it. I tend to make cards. I try and do something else, because otherwise it's just me and myself and I sitting there, and the company sucks at times. I have to get away from bad company sometimes. And sometimes I need to just shift it to think, why am I really focusing so much on this? I've got a challenge in my family. I've got a family member who's not talking to me, and I can't fix this. And it hurts, and it makes me really upset. And at times I obsess about it. But I'm also learning that this is going to be the way it's going to play out. I can tell them I love them. I can tell them I miss them. I think about it, or I could try and manipulate the situation, which has crossed my mind because I'm very manipulative, and I'm really great at bullying people into doing stuff that I want them to do. But that's not the place where I am today.
Yeah, and Laura, honey, just reach out to your girlfriend. She's your girlfriend. She's somebody that you care about. That's just about letting go of the fear, baby.
Okay.
Not worrying about what's going to happen at the end, because whatever's going to happen at the end, she's your friend. So reach out. Just
Okay.
walk through that fear. And as far as you know, what you're talking about like having seasonal blues, a lot of people do have that. So, and you and I have talked in the past about what your why might be. You know, like your reason for waking up in the morning. Like, what is it that I want to give back spiritually? And I know for you, that's like all that spiritual, you know, well, you know, peace and love, and you know, Felice's a hippie, and nobody really has to listen to that shit, which they don't have to. But when you find that, you kind of get to touch into that happy place, and gives you something to do, especially when it's freezing cold out and you're stuck and it's kind of gloomy and you're home and you have all this time, and it would be so effing awesome to use. And I know that you go through your days where you're like, I'm home, I'm by myself, it's horrible out, I could just, you know, get on my nice blanket, lay on the couch, get high, and the world can leave me alone. And I don't care how much time you have in recovery. I just had this tremendous conversation with my therapist. And I don't care how much time you have in recovery. As an addict, if you say that those things never cross your mind, personally, I think you're lying. I don't care how much recovery time you got.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so call her and then let me know what happens. So I'm going to challenge you to call her and then reach out to me after. So I know you did. All right, baby.
So I just wanted to tell everyone out there that we changed a couple of things. So our Sunday meetings are now going to be 30-minute meetings.
Unless they run a little bit longer.
Unless they
right?
run a
Depends
lot,
on
we're
what
never going to cut
but
we're never
yeah.
going to cut anyone off.
Yeah.
Our workshops are coming up, and that's really where we're going to spend the time getting to delve more into the issues and get the coping tools. It doesn't mean that we're not available, we're not here, we're not in community. You can reach out to us in many different ways, online, texting, messaging, calling, however you want to do it. We are available to chat and to connect. I just wanted to please make a note of the March the 7th, because I'm very forgetful. And also send in your suggestions. We'd love to know what you want to talk about in terms of what you'd like to have workshops about. For some of us, it is about the food. For some of us, it is the struggling with after bariatric surgery. You know, all of us have different challenges. Let's look at it. One of the workshops that Felice spoke about is looking at why we do the things that we do and where it comes from, which is something we'll schedule for a little bit further on in the year, because that takes a bit of planning.
Yeah, and we're also going to talk about chemically what's going on with us, so we have a better understanding of that. We are going to talk about the food. We're going to start talking about the food more and the reaction that our brain has to the food. Angelique has like all of these amazing recipes. We're going to change up the website a little bit so that it's more user-friendly, because for me, if something isn't perfectly simple, I don't do it. So we're going to change that up to make it easier, and I'm going to ask Angelique to help with putting up recipes and stuff like that every week. If we could have like your Angelique corner, where you'll go ahead and put something up, because she makes all these crazy delicious things. And we'll talk about more chemically about what's going on as well, and instead of just talking about the recovery, because for me, recovery is 96% of it. And then the other 4%, if we go 96% and we don't do the other 4%, we're still not gonna cross that finish line. And so we're gonna start making the food and what's happening chemically more important, so we're going to start talking about that as well.
So you're talking about getting the skinny.
Exactly. Ange, you want to share?
Sure.
Good. Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's funny because you asked me, do you want to share? And I was thinking this morning, she's going to ask me if I want to share, and I don't want to share.
And the world could have ended before she got here, but she's still been worrying or ruminating on whether or not I was going to ask her if she wants to share, and that's okay. So go ahead and share.
I don't know if I really know where to start, so I'm just gonna talk. I feel like I'm at a place right now where I'm kind of scared. A lot of new things have happened this week that, well, we don't know what's gonna happen. They just have implications for the future, but I'm trying not to worry about them, because like you tell me, it's gonna happen either way if I worry or not.
Right. We have no control over what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
To others, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And so, along with that, I feel as though, and you actually pointed out to me too, that I'm engaging in not engaging in behavior. I'm acting like I was when you first met me,
Let me ask you a question. You were just gonna say I'm engaging in behavior
and I took it
that
back
I used to. Why'd you take it back?
because I thought that meant I'm inactive, like I'm binge.
Using.
Yeah, but I'm not. So then I was gonna switch it.
Right,
To
so
make
you
it-
just made it all about the food when you did that. Very important.
Okay.
So no, you're not binging,
Okay.
right? And you haven't, you're still in recovery physically and chemically. Spiritually, this week, where do you feel like you are in your recovery? Forward or backward?
Backwards.
Yeah, way backward.
Way backwards.
Yeah, okay. And that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess with that, on top of that, naturally happening, I also feel like with that worry, I feel like I'm gonna lose what I have. Like, you know, you and I have
Yeah.
had plenty of conversations of, I haven't asked you, well, are you mad if I do this? And in a year, and I've asked you that like a million times this week, or
She's been like off the chain nuts, by the way, just saying.
yeah, we've had conversations like 4 or 5 times a day, and I'm not okay. And
The thing is, you are okay.
I am okay. It's just
Right.
that yeah.
You're just letting a lot of chaos happen in your brain, but you are okay.
Right, but
Right.
um,
Right. Are you in danger?
no.
No, you're not. Is life happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are some people going to be sick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are things going to be changing for you?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's acceptance.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to be in acceptance, that you will choose to be in acceptance about, because the sooner you choose to have some more acceptance, the more fear will go away. For you, what happens with a lot of us is that we have a little bit of fear and we start thinking the way that we used to think. So then we have a little bit more fear, and then we have a little bit more fear, and then we have a little bit more fear, and then we're sitting in a room in a corner saying, I don't know how I got here, and I have no idea of how to move forward, and now I'm back to feeling as nuts as I used to feel. Remember, I'm gonna say this again, feelings aren't facts. Being scared is a feeling. It's not a fact, right? It's just the way that you're feeling. Facts are, you're gonna go to school. Facts are, people are gonna get sick, right? Facts are, you're gonna plan for your future. Facts are, you have a telephone, right? And there are people on the other end of the phone. Those are facts. All of the fear that you're having right now is stuff that we're making up because we feel out of control. You know why? Because we are out of control. Because I don't have any control over whether or not you get the flu tomorrow. And I don't have any control over the weather. And I don't have any control over whether my boss is pissed off when he walks into work tomorrow. Right? I don't have control over that stuff. I could worry about it if I want to, but it just makes me stuck and sick and scared. And right now you're stuck and sick and scared. So you have one thing that makes you scared, and then another thing makes you scared, twice as scared about the first thing, and then you go back to that place where you used to just be scared all the time. It's so crazy, right? How our brains in 5 minutes can go from feeling pretty okay and something happens and we go back into those behaviors that we had before. And Karen's shaking her head because obviously, because Karen just said I need to start working on my recovery because I'm having the resentments and all of that stuff. It's like, it's almost like I did this much work and now I'm over here. And that's okay. One thing I need for you guys to remember is that you were over here. And so over here is only a thought away, right? So let's all remember that we're so much better than we used to be, which means that we could be so much better than we are right now. Yeah. And it sucks to be you.
I don't.
It sucks. It sucked to be you yesterday, didn't it? I called her yesterday and I'm like on the crazy meter on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you this morning? So I know what kind of conversation to have with you. Did I say that or not?
Yeah, you did.
I said, I'm gonna let you know this morning on my crazy meter, I'm about a 2 or a 3. If my shrink is listening, she'd be falling on the floor right now. She hates when I say it, that I'm crazy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in an endearing, like
I
we're
know.
nutty. I know that you know. I just want everybody out there to know. For me, nutty is, is what we are.
So is that something we need on the website? A crazy
Something, yeah, a crazy meter. That's like such a great thing, right? But it's the truth. and then you get scared, and then you're like, okay, I'm acting crazy, which makes
So
you
the part
crazier.
the part that scares me
Yes.
is, yeah, I know I'm scared about all that stuff.
Okay.
But then I'm gonna give a real example. You don't
Okay.
care, I can say anything.
Yeah, I care.
So then it's like I start, like yesterday I did the thing well, I'm scared you're gonna leave out of nowhere. Like we spend 24 hours a day together practically. I work with you, we do everything together, and then I'm scared you're just gonna like forget about me.
And the reality is, you're the one that's leaving. You're going away to school.
Right.
Right. That's really her problem. So instead of making it about, I'm leaving for school because I'm a grown up and I'm going to go away to school and have a grown up life, we're going to make it about everybody and everything else so that you don't have to look at what's going on.
Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah, we could just make it about what's happening outside of me instead of working on my fears, because I'm going to be a grown up who's going away to
But
college
I have
soon.
to say something.
Yes.
Do you know that I feel like that's a real fear? Like I don't feel like
It is
it's-
a real fear.
Yeah, no, I mean, like hearing you say it, I'm like, oh, that's stupid.
It's not stupid. It just is.
Okay, well, it just is, but hearing you say it, and then it, like, what you said makes sense, but it's like, do I really do that? But I guess,
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Okay. All right, so all of that happened, right? Doesn't mean that we have to stay stuck there, right? Just
Yeah.
means that, and you know, to wake up in the morning and say, okay, today on my crazy meter, I'm a 9.5, which means I got something I got to work through today. Did you reach out to someone? Did you call Karen and say, Karen, I'm insane right this minute. You have 5 minutes to chat?
No, I called Laura.
Okay. And did you tell Laura you were crazy, or did you just call to say hi?
No, we didn't connect.
Okay.
She didn't answer.
Okay.
She didn't answer.
Well, so that's convenient. I called somebody who didn't
But I
answer.
called somebody else too, and they didn't answer.
Did you reach?
And then I called you, but that was like your 5th call, so I was like, I'm just gonna give her a break. I'm not even gonna leave a message.
Reach out to somebody, like connect with somebody.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Or put it out there, or do something. All right. Or text Laura and say I'm in trouble.
So
Call
when
me
no
back.
one answered, I went shopping because you taught me to do that.
Nothing like
Shopping
retail
therapy.
therapy.
Exactly.
Yeah, Amazon knows me by name. Yeah.
Actually, I called Amazon yesterday. They're so great.
They're awesome. So I think instead of doing, you guys touched on a really great thing. So instead of doing the check-in, I think we should do where are you on your crazy meter today? I think that is such an awesome thing. It like puts things in perspective.
Maybe we should call it a nutty meter, so for the therapists out there, so that they don't.
Come up with a cute name for it.
Right, something. We'll figure out something. But that would be a great thing to check in on the website,
I
right? Where
think
we
it's
get to
awesome.
like put it out there so that we know how much work we want to do today. Right? If I'm up here on the meter, I got this much work to do. If I'm up here on the meter, I got that much work to do. Yeah.
I just want to say one more thing.
Yes.
I'm self-absorbed today, by the way, guys.
And self-absorption has to
do
do
with
with
fear and
right,
lack
our
of
chaos
acceptance.
and yeah.
Yeah. So, shit, I forgot. I can't remember.
Okay. All right. So
I remember.
you'll
Yeah.
speak about it another time, or
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell everyone next week, next Sunday,
Mhm.
we're back in at 9:30. It's really very helpful if you sign up at the website, sowawait.net, because if there are any meeting changes, you get notified if something's changed. Because sometimes it does happen. And we're going to go back to Thursday workshops in March. So from next month, things are going to start shifting again. So
like they were before
like
the
they were
holidays.
before the
Yeah.
holidays. And do you want to take us up?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of my recovery. My name is Dr. Felice Cellini, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. This is our Sunday morning Why Wait for Recovery community meeting. And really, you guys, thank you so much for being a part of my recovery. Thank you, Haiti, for being here. Ahmed and Ange, thanks so much for all of your help. Girls out there, my girls, I love you so much. And it's so nice to see your faces. It's so nice to see your faces this morning. So
What's the
thank you
homework
for
for the
being
week?
here. Our homework for the week. You're
Gratitude
supposed
list.
to. Okay, gratitude list. I haven't done mine. So our homework for the week is our challenge for the week. Is let's make sure. Karen, have you been doing your gratitude lists every night? I can't hear her.
I missed a couple of nights.
I missed more than that.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, I
I probably have you beat on miss them. Laura, do you ever do them? No, she's like making that face like, F no, man. You've been talking to me about that for 17 years. All right, so Laura, I'm going to challenge you to do a gratitude list this week. Every single day. It takes 10
she's making a
seconds.
face.
I know she's making a face. She's flipping me off under the table. It's all good, baby. Do gratitude list 7 days.
Okay.
Okay? All right, everybody out there, do your gratitude list. So, okay, thanks for
Right.
the suggestion.
So whywake.net is the website. Posted there. There's a heading that says gratitude. It's in our forum.
And we're going to make it really easy to find. So after we
Right.
work on the website, it's going to say gratitude, and you're going to click on it, and that's where we're going to do our gratitude list. Wouldn't that be great? Okay.
So that will be out there by tomorrow. So I just wanted to say welcome back, Sarah. We've missed you in the room, and
We're so
I
glad.
am so blessed and grateful to be in recovery. Thank you for being part of my journey.
Thank you.
And thank you. And also, if no one's told you today that they love you, I love you, and we'll see you next Sunday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Peace out, you guys.